Hello and welcome along to Villa TV and to Match Day Live, an all-important game here at Villa Park. Celtic roll into town for the final league phase game of the Champions League. Aston Villa already assured to go through until the next round, but a win tonight could well secure a top 8 finish. Celtic already assured a place in the knockout rounds, but don't let that fool you. Still plenty to play for tonight. The atmosphere set to be electric. My name is Tracey, and alongside me, 3 former villains. We have McInally, Jed Steer back for more, and Ahmed Elmohamady. Jed, great to have you back. We had you for the Carabao Cup and for Crystal Palace, but this has got a slightly different feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Villa Park at night, under the lights, Champions League. Yeah, it's going to be a great night.
It is. Elmo, it's quite cold out here, but we wouldn't want to be anywhere else rather than pitch side for this one. The Celtic fans are already starting to filter in. They're already making some noises as well.
Yeah, I heard about, 50,000 people coming here from Celtic today, so it's going to be a great night. Yeah, like Jed said, under the lights, Villa Park, Champions League, you can't dream of games like that. So it's going to be an important game for us today, because we need to win today. It's no more than that, 3 points today, and then we'll see how other results can get us through to automatic promotion. Yeah, it's going to be a good night for us, but we need to be at it today. We need to start well. Of course, Celtic is a good team. Brendan Rodgers, who knows about the Premier League, who's been here at Villa Park before. He knows the atmosphere and everything, but we need to be at it today. We need to start well to get the 3 points today.
Definitely. You touched upon it there. We've got a whole load of perms that are going to, well, hopefully fall into Villa's favour. But Villa Allen, first and foremost, need to do their part by winning tonight.
Yes, they do. The boys have tried their best to build this. It's a lot bigger than that, everybody. This is Celtic Football Club coming to Aston Villa in the Champions League. 2 of my old clubs. This is humongous. I've had nothing but texts and calls for the last 3 months building up to the January game against Aston Villa by some of my Celtic mates. And I'm just hoping everybody enjoys the game tonight and everybody behaves themselves properly. Let's just say that first and foremost. But you're right, they're going to make a lot of noise, Celtic, and Villa are going to have to make sure they drown them out by getting behind the boys as much as they possibly can. I think we'll win tonight. I don't think there's any question about that. There's, Maeda being suspended, no Carson Vickers, and I'm missing somebody. Kyogo is not playing either. He's not even here, actually.
Oh, no.
So there is a big opportunity for Aston Villa to make sure we've got the best chance possible to get ourselves into that position. Listen, this is going to be, and I know we've been in lots of games at Villa Park so far, this will be at least as good, if not better, than the Bayern Munich game. This is going to be electric. Absolutely electric.
Well, the atmosphere here on these Champions League nights has been like no other. We saw that against Juventus, as you say, at Bayern Munich. I've never experienced anything like it. But Jed, with the tifo going up, the fireworks, the whole pre-match show that gets put on at Villa Park, it just creates a whole atmosphere inside the stadium.
Yeah, what they put on here is absolutely remarkable. The way they get the fans behind the team, the entertainment they put on around the stadium as well is absolutely fantastic. And it just builds the whole occasion up as well. And the Celtic fans will be big tonight in that atmosphere as well. I played in a testimonial 12 years ago at the end of a season against Celtic, and nothing on it. And they've got 3,000 fans there.
That's the great story. That's the great story. A Celtic fan goes into into the bookmakers and says, "How much are Celtic for the testimonial game?" He said, "It's just a friendly." He went, "Celtic don't play friendly."
That was it, and they didn't stop singing all night.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing, of course, Elmo, was I said, and the boys coped really well with the pressure against Juventus and the pressure against Bayern. So it's not something that's going to be alien to a lot of the lads. They just need to make sure they cope with it and go out as favourites as they are tonight, aren't they?
Of course, yeah. The most atmosphere here was against Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
But today is going to be something special because it's Celtic, And like I said, the manager prepared the boys very well before the game. Of course, we're missing some players today. Tyrone is the big one for the injury. You're going to go the team news in a bit. But Tyrone is missing today. Is going to be massive for us, So I don't know who's going to be there. But the manager bought there Lucas Digne the last game. Maybe it didn't work out because he's not, a centre half, because you need a centre half in this position. So hopefully in the next few days, we can bring someone play in this position until, Tyrone and Porteous is back as well.
Yeah, both teams are missing some key players tonight, aren't they? Which is just adding to the tension. Now, we've managed to hold it off for long enough so far. We have touched upon it briefly enough there, your time at Celtic as well as Aston Villa. But talking about your time at Celtic, what are your abiding memories?
Well, I came from Ayr United, where I signed when I was 16 years old, because my mum didn't want me to go anywhere apart from stay at Ayr. And I had the opportunity to sign at lots of different clubs. And it was quite literally, and I've been told actually he's here today, Mr. David Hay, who was the manager of Celtic at the time. He came to my mum and dad's house on the Tuesday, and I literally signed for Celtic on the Wednesday. And my abiding memory was when I got to Celtic Football Club, I was thinking, now I've been to Celtic before, but walking in as a player was different. And I was playing with the likes of Roy Aitken and Murdo MacLeod and Maurice Johnson and Brian McClare and Kent and Tommy Burns and Pat Bonner, and I was thinking, oh my goodness. And what you didn't realise was that every week you're 60-odd thousand, 70,000 people, and you've got to make sure you've got broad shoulders, because if you don't do well, they're going to let you know about it. But it really set me up as a football player, and of course winning the titles and winning the cup, etc. It was a difficult decision for me to leave Celtic. It genuinely was. But then I didn't realise how special this football club was going to be, and it was the right thing for me to do at the right time. And I didn't do it for, just for Alan McInally. I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do in my career, and it was absolutely the right thing. Celtic's always been close to me, but it's nothing like it is at Aston Villa.
Oh, well, we're going to touch upon plenty more of that later on, but when the draw came out, I texted you straight away, didn't I? I said, have you actually done this draw? Bayern Munich, Celtic now for the final game as well. So I'm so happy that you are here for this. You wouldn't have missed it for the world, would you? But of course, Aston Villa have been going great guns in the Champions League so far. So let's take a look back at that run of form.
Gets it short as well. Looks deep drop in there. Tielemans takes a touch. Yuri Tielemans. Oh, he's in! And Aston Villa have the lead. It's Yuri Tielemans. And Yuri Tielemans celebrates the first goal in the Champions League for Aston Villa this season. And it's put in by Jacob Ramsey. Puts the ball in the net. And Villa lead by 2-0 against Young Boys. Aston Villa 1, Bayern Munich 0. That's got a familiar ring to it. Rodgers got all the way in. Got again. He celebrates in front of the whole net, and Villa take lead again in the Champions League. Rodgers! It had to be. Lovely work. Rodgers again. John Duran. Just a goal on your nil. Trying to make an angle for a cross. Floats it into the far side. What are you trying to get an angle? Oh, it's John McGinn. What a start for Aston Villa. It's the Villa skipper. That would be wanted. Eyeing up the shot, and he goes for goal. My word! John Duran! Take a bow! That's with Rock Party, maybe can have a go. They did it again! Yeah! Rock Party! It needed a deflection behind the back of the net! But Aston Villa for the third time tonight take the lead!
Yeah, it's been quite the run of form, hasn't it? And quite the adventure. I don't think at the start of the season anyone would have really expected this from Aston Villa. Currently 9th in the table. And Jed, some of those results we talked about, we've just seen there, they were some of the most memorable nights in Aston Villa history.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at the Bayern Munich game, for instance. Bayern Munich come to town, you go and beat them 1-0. It's amazing. And I think when the draw's made, you look at it and you go, well, if we're at the minute in 9th, you would have took that. So it just shows how well Villa have done in the competition so far, and hopefully they can now finish the job off and finish in that top 8.
And we just look at those results there. I mean, the Juventus one is the slightly frustrating one. If it wasn't for slightly questionable officiating, Elmo, I'm going to put it out there and say it, then that could well be another win on the board for Villa.
Of course, yeah. The last goal we scored, was Morgan. I think he scored. Diego Carlos with that challenge with the goalkeeper. I know it's different rules in Europe, but we should have won that game. We were overall a better team, than Juventus. But like Jet said, the Bayern Munich game was unbelievable, outstanding from the boys. All over the campaign being great for us, it's a new experience for the boys. They never been played in the Champions League before. They played here this year, so it's a good experience for them. But tonight is a different animal. So we need to win tonight to go again and play keep going in the Champions League, because team like Celtic is nothing to play for today. They qualified already, in the playoff, so they're relaxing. They're gonna enjoy tonight. But for us, the pressure is on us today. So we have to start well. We have to start the game in the first 10-15 minutes. We have to start well tonight, like we start against West Ham.
And Alan, we were talking about this new format for the Champions League this year and how much we've been enjoying it. It has been more games, but it's made every match count, and it matters so much because when you look at the league table, after every match day for the Champions League, it changes some amount. Villa in 9th though, but we've got the 5 teams above us that we're really going to be concentrating on tonight because there are very little points to separate them. You can see Inter Milan in 4th on 16 points, but Atletico Madrid 15, also the same for AC Milan. Atalanta, who play Barcelona tonight, are on 14 points, and Bayer Leverkusen on the same as us, but ahead, 1 goal on goal difference there in 8th.
I quite like the format, I genuinely do. I mean, it's quite difficult if you think about it, how they're going to change the format to try and make things not more exciting. It's exciting playing in the Champions League anyway, but trying to get that little bit more jeopardy as we get into the 7th and 8th and 9th game, etc, etc. And I think that's what they've done, and it sets it up really lovely. Delighted for Celtic, they've made the playoffs, it's absolutely fantastic. But for Aston Villa, the way we played in the Champions League, I'll be disappointed if they don't do the job tonight. They have an opportunity to make sure we can finish in the top 8. We're not in the playoffs then, and that would be unbelievable, especially from the group we've played in, when you've already spoken about. And by the way, the biggest pat in the back I can give Aston Villa, Juventus came here and tried to play for a point.
Yeah.
I mean, the game was open in times, but they didn't set up to try and win 2 or 3-0 because they knew it was a difficult game for them. So I think Villa's come a long way. I think Elmo's right. We have a couple of players missing and a couple of important players that have been big players for us in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And that's something the manager, in the next few days, hopefully will make sure we're not in that position when we get to domestic football. And he has to shuffle the pack a bit today. Brilliant night for John McGinn. Huge night for John McGinn. You and I watched the game at the weekend and we sat and wondered, is he going to get 25 minutes or 20 minutes? And I think the manager did best enough just to give him, I think it was 17 minutes, just to make sure he's okay for tonight. He will lead the boys out, and I think Villa will win tonight.
Yeah, Jen was just smiling there in the background as soon as you said John McGinn's name, so hopefully we will get to see him, hopefully starting, because this is going to mean more to him than anyone else on Aston Villa's side there. But in terms of the permutations, Elma, you were talking about this, it's calculators and spreadsheets to the ready. We were just looking at the league there, but the permutations tonight, which means that Aston Villa may well be able to qualify into the top 8. So, of course, first and foremost, Villa need to win against Celtic tonight. But Villa also need at least one of Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, Atalanta, or Bayer Leverkusen to drop points. That's not necessarily to lose, but a draw for Atalanta and Barcelona might still be good enough provided Villa win. So again, Elmo, we talk about the exciting new format of the Champions League. We're going down to the final match day.
Yeah, of course. The new format is great. Everyone is happy with it. You can see today, it's 18 games in the same time. It's good for the fans. It's good for everyone watching. So I like it. Of course, for us tonight, you mentioned that, Atalanta, Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen, but we just need to focus on us tonight. Just win tonight, and I'm telling you, I'm sure, one of them is going to drop points, and then we'll qualify. But we just focus on ourselves, get a win tonight, and then just wait for the other results. But
I'm sorry, did you see Atalanta playing Barcelona?
Yes, but Barcelona is already qualified. The only thing is they maybe they put a young team out there, You never know because they qualified already. But we just need to focus on ourselves tonight. Just get a win and then just wait for the other results, If it's happened, it's happened. If it's not, just get on with it and just go in the playoff.
That's all you can do, isn't it? Is focus on your own.
Yeah.
Is focus on your own fixtures and getting the job done here at Villa Park. But at the same time, we know that everyone will be on the Wi-Fi, so the Wi-Fi may well get overloaded inside Villa Park tonight. To keep an eye on the other fixtures that may well decide Villa's fate in terms of finishing in the top 8. So here's a look at some of those fixtures to keep an eye on. As we said, Barcelona playing at home to Atalanta, Bayer Leverkusen versus Sparta Prague, Dinamo Zagreb versus AC Milan, and RB Salzburg versus Atletico Madrid. There are a few others above them, but they're the main 4 to be focusing in on, because basically it gets a bit complicated thereafter, goal difference and such like as well, Alan. But yeah, we've got to get our brains engaged for this one.
Yeah, exactly. But of the fixtures we put up there, I think I should have probably texted Hansi Flick, who I played with for 3 years at Bayern. He's now the manager at Barcelona. And actually, when he got the job, I said, "My Spanish is fantastic, by the way. You need to take me to Barcelona." But anyway, listen, and he's done a great job there, but there's no way he won't want to win the game, regardless of who he plays out. Barcelona's another team, you know, like Aston Villa and like Bayern Munich. Every time we play a game, you're not afforded the luxury of just getting a point or losing a game. You've got to win. You've got to play to win. You've got to want to win. And the want to win should be there on every player tonight. Yeah. This will be a game that the lads will look back on later on and go, wow, it was unbelievable. And let's just hope that Villa get it right tonight. It's going to be a tough game. I don't think it'll be easy, but I think we should have too much for Celtic tonight.
And Aston Villa will have their gaffer back at the helm as well, after Unai Emery had to sit in the stands during the West Ham game on Sunday. So Unai Emery back in the dugout, and he spoke to the media yesterday.
Of course, I want to be in the top 8. And of course, you had the opportunity. It's fantastic. Last week, I was a little pessimist after the match against Monaco. I recognize it. But overall, we are doing a fantastic way, and we are now with 13 points. And of course, it's not in our hands, but other teams as well, they have to win tomorrow, in case we are winning, of course. And I want to play the match. I want to enjoy tomorrow with our supporters in Villa Park, the day 8 in Champions League this year. We are excited, motivated. The players as well, they are showing us in Champions League. They are enjoying, and enjoy is competing, enjoy is trying to win, enjoy is as well creating a strong atmosphere, positive strong atmosphere tomorrow here with our supporters here. And tomorrow is a very good opportunity against Celtic to enjoy here. Of course, I know some special match and rival match for the supporters as well. But it's fantastic to play Champions League matches. It's fantastic to play against teams like Celtic. I played before in Champions League against them with another club. And always is the atmosphere, of course, tomorrow is in Villa Park, but they are going to be as well supporters of Celtic here. And it's very good to enjoy football like that, very deep football. We will respect them like they deserve, and of course, they are a winning team. Their mentality is usually the teams they are winning out of matches in a row in their league. And they have very experienced players, international players, and they're going to play tomorrow here, feeling confident and trying as well to face us, more or less feeling they can be close of us as well in the performances. And of course, I know, because I respect them and we analyze them and the way they are doing as well to be in the next round is because they have good players, good coach. The club is as well prestigious club, and the players feel there they are a team to play in Europe, Champions League or another place, and we are going to feel it, I think, very quick tomorrow. We are starting the match.
Yeah, great to hear from Unai Emery, and as always, he has an awful lot of respect for the opposition and for his opposite number as well, and Brendan Rodgers. But Elmo, as he was speaking upon there, he said that he was a bit pessimistic last week, and we all knew that after the Monaco game. But he said that the players, they're revitalised, they're really enjoying playing in the Champions League, so tonight's the night to show it.
Yeah, he was rightly so after Monaco. You know, you can see it in the game. You know, everything was slow. He didn't recognise his team at the game. You know, we didn't start well, set pieces as well. We didn't defend well. So the manager was right, and then you have to do that in the training. You know, you have to get everything right for the night, you know. So we have to be at it today. Starting well, like I said, you know, in first 10, 15 minutes, it's going to be massive for us. You need to score first. But the manager was right about, you know, everything in the Champions League was perfect. But at that night in Monaco, everything was slow. The team wasn't, you know, at it at that game. But, you know, it's a game tonight to make everything is right tonight. You know, it's a big night for us. You need to get the 3 points, you know. And like I said, you know, a few players missing, but, you know, other players have been there before, you know. They played in the Premier League, played in the Champions League. So whoever out there tonight, you know, is going to make the difference for us and be at it tonight and start well the game.
And Jed, he spoke there about Brendan Rodgers and about the amount of times he's faced sides that he has managed, but with different teams as well. How useful is that you have managers that know each other so well? Or is it counterproductive, therefore?
Yeah.
You cancel each other out?
Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest. I guess, unless your tactics change, but as a manager, Brendan Rodgers, I think, has got his set way of playing. And, you know, if anything, Unai Emery's had a bit of practice against those teams to see what's worked and what hasn't. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a tactical game tonight, I feel, because you've got two very tactical managers, you know, here tonight.
And Alan, in terms of how Celtic have done, as you were just saying then when Unai was talking, when we were talking off air, where perhaps didn't start ideally for Celtic, but they've really found their MO of playing in the Champions League.
When they got a real turnover from Borussia Dortmund, I think they changed in Europe. I think Brendan was flexible enough to say, we can't do this. You know, we can do it domestically, but we can't do it like that in Europe. And I think that's why that's why, you know, their competition in Scotland against Rangers has to be more for them to keep them at that Champions League level. And I think they've changed a little bit in Europe, and they haven't gone just so gung-ho, and they've got the rewards for it and managed to get themselves in a position where they've managed to, you know, get into the next stage, which, if you think about, if you're a Celtic fan or involved with the Celtic Football Club, you're gauged by winning domestically, which they normally do, but how far can they go in Europe will almost determine how far the club has come on. So you've got to say, with the opportunity they've given themselves tonight, it's massive. Now, there's nothing different from Aston Villa. The manager respects Brendan Rodgers. You know, he's been at Leicester, my goodness, he was at Liverpool, his second spell at Celtic. He's used to big-time football. But even he knows he's coming here against a very good Aston Villa team. Now, the manager wasn't happy, and I know Elmo almost slipped over it there. The manager was really not happy against Monaco. And afterwards, he was really... I've never seen the gaffer just quite like that, and it was really annoying him exactly the way we had played, because it was there for us, because they were okay at Monaco, but they weren't that good. But for whatever reason, we just didn't click. This is an opportunity tonight. There won't be a minute tonight that Andy's going to feel tired with this lot cheering you, and it's going to be one of those games that the players are going to remember. Should be an absolute beauty. And I'll go back to what I said. I think we will dominate the ball better than them, and I think we'll create more chances. And I think this is a big night for Ollie Watkins.
A huge night for him,
yeah,
certainly. And the players have had to do an awful lot of learning during this, because this is the first Champions League campaign for the vast majority of Aston Villa's team. Whereas, Elmo, what we were saying about Monaco is they're in the Champions League pretty much every year. Pretty much the same as Celtic then as well. Their history in this competition, winners of 66, 67 season.
Yeah, in this campaign you play against clubs, you know, they've been in the Champions League every year, Bayern Munich, Juventus, Celtic, you know, Monaco. So it's a new experience for the players. So they did very well in this campaign until now. This is a good night for them, you know, to make sure we are in the next round. We are in the top 8 teams. It's going to be massive for them. For everyone, for every single one, not just for Oli, not just for Morgan. Of course, you know, for every single player for them. They've never been in the Champions League before, so it's going to be a great night for them. We win tonight, you qualify automatic. You know, you get some time off in February for the players, so they're going to be, you know, thinking about all of these things.
See, as a player tonight, the guys are in the dressing room right now. Manager said what he said. You're going through your routine. You make sure your boots are ready to rock and roll. You make sure you're stripped, whatever you're going to be wearing. You know, you just get everything right and get yourself into your mode. And then when you come down the tunnel and you come out here on a Champions League night, it's hard not just to get carried away with that as well, to get carried by the atmosphere. They're going to absolutely love it. They're going to absolutely love it. And this is terms sometimes a football player, I'm like, guys, I know what you're going to feel, and you're going to feel 25 feet tall, and you're going to feel as though you could run 100 metres in 4 seconds. That's what it's like when you run out here in a Champions League night, and let's hope they embrace that the best way they can, and I'm sure the manager will just keep a lid on it, and then let the elastic band go, and let's go and win the game.
It's already building, isn't it? The atmosphere, the noise from the Celtic fans behind us is already building. So it's going to reach boiling point.
They're good singers, aren't they? They're good singers.
They are, I know. They do make them well in Scotland, don't they, from a singing standpoint. But another one of the fantastic initiatives of UEFA in the Champions League is that a player also takes part in the pre-match press conference. This time it was the turn of Jacob Ramsey.
Yeah, it was really good to get that feeling again. I've not scored in a while at Villa Park, and I think in the past 12 months I've had 3 or 4 big injuries, and hopefully now I've got my first goal in the Premier League. I can keep the numbers, keep playing, keep fit to the end of the season. I think that's my main focus. But yeah, that's my game. Just trying to run past people, be powerful, be explosive, and get goals. Me personally, from where I've come from the academy, and to think when I was 8 years old, when I signed for Villa, to be playing it in Champions League at 23 years old, and at Villa Park, and my family and friends are in the stadium. So yeah, I'm sure before the game, when the music comes on and the anthem comes on, I'll be looking up to my family and friends, and it's a pinch me moment really. But yeah, I think after that is focus on the game. Any Champions League game is always going to be a big game, especially at Villa Park, and tomorrow night we need the 3 points to try and get automatic qualification. It's going to be a tough match. I'm sure the Celtic fans will bring their atmosphere, but I know Villa fans are going to bring a great atmosphere, and it's going to be a really good game. Villa's a big club and with big ambition. I think when I was in the youth team, I think that was when the new owners kind of took over, and it was quite clear that the ambition was to play in these big competition and get in top 4 or whatever, and playing in these big games. But yeah, like I said, it's a pinch me moment. I've got family and friends there tomorrow. I think for the first 5 minutes it'll kind of be surreal to hear the atmosphere again, but after that, just full focus on the game.
Yeah, great to hear from Jacob Ramsey. And Elmo, he's had that run of injuries now. It's been so frustrating, but it has been great when we have got to see glimmers of him back to his best. And of course, he got that early goal, young boys, earlier on in the season. Didn't quite stand on Ollie Watkins in it.
He started the season very well, but after he came back from injury, he's been so good for us. The games against Everton, Arsenal, and the game against West Ham, and the one he scored, he's been sensational. The only thing with Jacob is the injury. We've been there, me and Jed, when he came through to the first team, and you can see he has a great future ahead of him, and he's been sensational since then. So he needs to just stay fit. He needs to look after his body, and he will be great for us. Him and Morgan, both of them, they're still young, they're still learning the game, they're still getting experience from the players around them, from John McGinn, from Telemans, from the Kamara. The players who's been in the Premier League for so long, they've been in the game for so long. So he just needs to look after his body, look more, because he's great for us. See, he's affecting the games, in the left-hand side, and he's going to play a big role for us tonight, him and Morgan. I'm telling you, they're going to create chances for Oli. They're going to be playing a big role for us tonight.
Yeah, and Jacob Ramsey, he was saying then, Jed, about the fact of where he's come from, a local lad, to now be playing a Champions League night at Villa Park. It's surreal, really.
Yeah, it must be for him. Like Elmo said there, we were with him back in 2019, and I used to sit opposite him on the bus on away games. And I remember him saying, I think I need to go out on loan. So he went out to Doncaster and then came back, and he was in and around the first team. And watching him progress now into the player he is it's been fantastic. The way he gets the ball, he drives with it. He's so powerful running with the ball, but he's also got the technical ability to then pick a pass as well. So seeing him become the player he is today is great, and hopefully he can kick on again.
And tactically, he's had to be versatile as well, which has perhaps limited some of those goal-scoring opportunities. But he has got those 2 this season already now, Alan, in the Champions League and now in the Premier League.
Yeah, and his goal on Sunday. This is the Champions League one where he managed to stand on everybody and the ball. And
I know, managing to protect your own teammate and score is quite something.
Hey, listen, what a feeling that must have been, scoring his first Champions League goal, my goodness. And then what I was going to say was his goal at the weekend was so important for us, because we haven't been starting particularly well. Here's a better chance. So Ollie does brilliant, to be fair. Ollie lands right on it.
He's not going to forgive this replay, is he?
Penalty, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the one from Saturday. And actually, he had the similar situation before the goal. and learn from that situation when you talk about tactics and just the way the game's going, etc., etc. And that was a fantastic start for us on Sunday, albeit we didn't go and get the 3 points. But nevertheless, the fact that he's give and go and makes the run and gets himself into positions. For midfield players, for young midfield players, with the engine that he's got, he has to make sure he is one of the players that gets into the box. Because that means when he runs into the box, if he doesn't make the run, Ollie Watkins doesn't give him it back, and then we stay with the ball at the edge of the box. It was a fantastic goal. See, I think he's got more to give.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how far the ceiling's going to be for him, but in terms of what I've seen so far, and I've watched in training and watching the games, there is absolutely no question his technical ability is wonderful. He's learning the right things from a right manager, and I think he's got more. Wow.
You managed to pick up all of that, yeah.
Welcome to the Champions League, everybody.
Welcome.
I think he's got more to give, and I think he really could be that player for us in the middle of the park from a midfield stance by getting into the box and creating mayhem for other teams.
He's hoping so. Now, it wasn't just Jacob Ramsey who sat down with Villa TV this week, but Matty Cash also did, and he is anticipating quite the atmosphere tonight at Villa Park.
Matty, good to see you. A big night ahead in the Champions League on Wednesday. How much are you looking forward to both the game and the occasion?
Yeah, it'll be a big occasion, obviously. Another Champions League night at Villa Park. And yeah, obviously we want to get the win. Obviously, we were disappointed in Monaco to not get 3 points, and obviously got a chance on Wednesday night to put it right and get victory and hopefully qualify.
As you said, obviously a bit disappointed coming out of the Monaco game, but overall still in a great position, just one place below those top 8 positions. Yeah,
I think that's what I mean. We started really well in the Champions League, and it was the atmosphere at Villa Park and around the place was crazy, and obviously it helped us massively. And obviously on Wednesday we got another opportunity to do that. As I said, yeah, we put ourselves in a great opportunity by winning. Obviously the first few games we've done really well with, and hopefully we can finish it off on Wednesday.
And I know you had to obviously wait a little while for your Champions League debut, but how do you look back on how the team's fared as a whole? Obviously you started in Switzerland, got a big result there and kicked on from there. Yeah,
there was a point where I was thinking, I hope it comes this season. I was a bit worried, thinking, obviously to play in the Champions League is a boy's dream come true, really. So I've played a few now, which is really good. And I think, playing on the highest level of football is what you want to do as a footballer. Obviously, getting to the Premier League firstly was fantastic, and then for the club to qualify in the Champions League, and then obviously you get to play your part in that is brilliant. And it's special nights, especially at Villa Park when it's under the lights as well. The atmosphere is amazing, and as I said then, we've got another tough challenge against a good team on Wednesday.
Yeah, and just give us a taste of how it felt for you. Obviously, I think your debut was against Juventus at Villa Park. You know, it doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, obviously I was saying to Mum and Dad, I can look back in years and obviously said that playing against like the top clubs in Europe in the Champions League is fantastic, but when you're in the moment you don't really think of that. You're just focusing on your job, and you've got one job to do, and that's to obviously perform for yourself, and then obviously to get the win with the team. Obviously if you perform well as individuals and as a team, then you're obviously more successful. So it's great to obviously play in them games, in them big games, and we want loads of it. We want to hopefully this year do as well as we can to progress and have more Champions League nights.
And for the team as a whole, you must take so much confidence, from some of the results, beating Bayern Munich, holding Juventus, going away to some of these really tough places and getting the wins.
Yeah, I think we believe in ourselves. We've got a fantastic group of players, and the staff are amazing, and we believe in ourselves to beat anyone. So as you said, we've played against the likes of Bayern, and we've obviously done really well and won. The most important thing though is obviously to get through the group. Obviously we've got a tough test, and then you can look forward to obviously whoever you get, or if we go into the playoffs or whatever happens. Obviously you're going to face good teams, and you have to beat the big clubs to go and progress in the competition. So we're ready for the challenge, and we don't fear anyone. Yeah.
And when the draw came out, there was a few games that stood out. Celtic at home. It's always special when a Scottish team comes down to England. How big is this one?
Yeah, I think John McGinn would be happy with this one. Celtic's a massive club with such big history, and especially in the Champions League as well. They're always in the Champions League. So as I said, I've said it 4 times now. It's a tough challenge, and we know what they can do. And obviously I've watched a lot of the games as well. So hopefully a special night.
Yeah, great to hear from Matty Cash there. And Jed, he was talking about the atmosphere and what it's like to play on these Champions League nights and saying that they're like no other.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Like we're here tonight, the atmosphere is already rising. You know, you walk out to the Champions League theme tune. You know, it must make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. But Cashy's an ultimate professional. You know, he lives well. He does everything right. He's always in the gym after training, doing extras. So for him to be playing in the Champions League, you know, I'm absolutely buzzing for him.
And Elmo, he did say in that he wondered whether it was ever going to happen. He was anticipating it, then he'd pick up a slight injury, he'd come back, and then he'd miss out. But he has played a few games now in the Champions League and played well.
Listen, in the last 4 or 5 years, you know, he's been great for us. He's been consistent. He's playing maybe almost every game, you know. Some injuries, you know, it happened but he got a competition now with Garcia coming to the team. I know he's not eligible to play tonight, but in the Premier League, he's got a good competition now. He's a young lad, you know, coming through in the Premier League. So he needs to perform well. It's a big night for him tonight, you know. He's playing against some tricky players, you know. He needs to defend well and goes forward as well. He's been great for us going forward. Some assists, the one to Oli against Arsenal. Score a few goals as well. Yeah, so for me, you know, he's been class for us in the last 4 or 5 years.
It's so interesting, Alan, isn't it? When you see or you talk to these players and they talk about the atmosphere. And we spoke to Yuri Tielemans on the podcast, and he was saying that it's just an atmosphere like no other. And it's almost tricky to try and replicate a performance following a Champions League game because the atmosphere just feels flat in comparison. And Matty touching upon the atmosphere there as well.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows exactly. Listen, that's what you've got to deal with. You've got to deal with the highs and lows even of domestic and European football. And listen, forget about the noise that's going to be in here today. When the boys are arriving on the bus tonight, they'll be able to sense it. There's a different feeling. The whole thing's different. Training yesterday would have been different. Organising things today would have been different. Arriving at the stadium tonight with just a different sound and a different expectation on it. So you've got to deal with that. Matt's been brilliant. Matt's done super, super good. If he can just stay fit and keep his high, you know, intensity levels for us when we're going forward, regardless of him being first and foremost, he's a defender. So I want him to defend and defend well. But when we've got the ball and we're in the final areas, I want him to come and join in because, as he's already shown us, he's a good deliverer of the ball into the box and he can be a game changer for us.
Yeah, we're really hoping that he has another fantastic game tonight, aren't we? Now, we've already heard from Unai Emery, but let's hear from his opposite number, Brendan Rodgers.
Well, I think Unai's done a brilliant job here. I've never obviously spoken about that, but I think it's first pen testament to the job he's done since he's come in 2022. Like, his body of work over many years has been top class, but you can see that here that he feels wanted, he feels appreciated, and you see what he's doing with the players in the league and what they've done in the Champions League this season. So we know that we're playing against his team, which is a very, very good side, very strong in counter-attack, defend very, very well. Got some brilliant players. So yeah, but it's a challenge that we're looking forward to. Yeah, and listen, it's like what we've done in a lot of our games. We set out to win the game. There'll be moments when we have to adapt in the game, of course, to their qualities and how we defend. But certainly then when we have the ball, we want to be able to play well, and we want to, because the better we are in attack, then the less you have to defend in the game. So for us, it's always about the balance in our game. We set out to want to go and win the game, and we'll look to attack the game. And as I said, our job is done in terms of getting to into the 24, but it's certainly not complete. And this is the last of the group stage games, and we come here. It's a beautiful pitch. It's a great arena, so we want to come and play to the best level that we can.
Yeah, great to hear from Brendan Rodgers there, and understandably so. He has an awful lot of respect for his opposite number, Unai Emery. And that feels like it's a bit of a theme between these two, Unai and Brendan, where they do have so much respect for each other, and they face each other so many times.
Well, they know how difficult the job is, okay, first and foremost. I mean, don't be kidded on that being a manager of a huge football club is easy. and it brings every single day. It brings that pressure and it brings expectancy, and you have to make sure you can speak to the players and get the players to a point that they're ready to go. Now, with Brendan Rodgers taking his second spell at Celtic, he knew what he was taking on, because he knows it's not a place for the faint-hearted, and he knows if he loses 2 games domestically in a row, there's a chaos at Celtic. Now, it's got a little bit like that at Aston Villa now, because we expect Unai Emery to guide us through the rough waters, to get us into that space again where we're going to be getting into European football. The last 18 months with Unai Emery has been unbelievable. This window, which a bit of luck, I don't know, Elmo, you maybe know more than me.
We'll try and get it out of it.
We're trying to bring in quality players. We're trying to get the squad as good as we can and get the injured players back. And let's hope we have a real push towards the end of the year. It's a great time to be a football player at Aston Villa. And tonight, just exactly what you want to be.
And on the players, we have team news to bring you as well. Elmo got a bit of a heads up earlier on, but we have now got it through fully. So starting with Aston Villa, of course, Emi Martinez in goal, carrying the captain's armband as well. Matty Cash at right back, Ezri Konsa in the centre of defence. But of course, we bring in Lamar Bogard. That is Aston Villa's only change from their draw against West Ham on Sunday. Youri Tielemans is in the heart of midfield alongside Boubacar Kamara. At left back goes Luca Dean. We also have Morgan Rodgers, Leon Bailey over on the right, Jacob Ramsey on the left, and Ollie Watkins up top. But again, look at that bench. The defence options from Sil Swinkles in there, John Duran on the bench, and John McGinn also on there as well. Hopefully we will get to see him at some point. Now on to Celtic. They have 3 changes to their starting 11. Kasper Schmeichel in goal, Alistair Johnson, Greg Taylor. Liam Scales comes in alongside Austin Trusty. Adam Eder is also in. Nicholas Kuhn, Yang Hyun Jun, Arne Engels, Rio Hatate, and Callum McGregor, their captain. So 3 changes for them. But Elmo, we were anticipating the defence here being the change. Bogard coming into the centre of defence.
Yeah, it's a big night for him. You know, he's been playing in a different position through the year. He's been playing as a right back. He came on against Arsenal as centre midfield. Now he's playing in his main position as a centre half. So I think he's playing on the right, Konsa playing on the left. Konsa got more experience. He can play in different position. But it's a big night for him. And then he needs the help from the players around him. He needs the help from Matty Cash, from Konsa, and from Emi Martinez as well behind him. I think they will all help him. So it's a big night for him, of course. We're missing a big player like Tyrone Mings. It's going to be massive for us tonight. But yeah. I wish him best of luck. I hope he has a great game tonight, Bogard, because he's a good young player. He played wherever the manager asked him to play, and he did a very good job. So I wish him a best of luck tonight. I hope he has a great night for the game tonight.
Now, lads, we don't have too long left. So, Jed, I'm going to ask you, what are you expecting to see from Aston Villa tonight, or the game as a whole?
I think what Elmo said earlier, and you come out the traps. You know, go and set the tone in the game, get off to a really good start, and I think they'll just feed off the whole atmosphere here. And I really expect them to be on that front foot, dominate the game, dominate possession. I can see Celtic sort of sitting back tonight, as they have done away from home recently. But ultimately, I think Villa are going to go on and win the game.
Okay, to go on and win it then. That was nicely summed up towards the end then. Alan, what are you expecting?
I'm expecting quite a tight opening half an hour, actually. I think the way Brendan will set them up is not to concede early on. I don't think they'll take any chances. A little bit on Bogard just before we finish up here. I want him to be a defender tonight, and I want him to do things very simply. There's no need to be smart tonight. This is a Champions League game, and he'll get through the game easier if he just does the right things and does a defender. Sniffs danger early and make sure him and Konsa are a pair. I think we'll have plenty of the ball tonight. I'm disappointed John McGinn's not playing. I'll put it right out there right now. I know the manager wants to pull him in a little bit, and with other games to play, naturally, I thought he'd have let John go tonight.
But he might be not 100% ready, you know.
That's true.
Well, hamstring injury, you know.
He's obviously not, Elmo, isn't he? He's not 100%, is he, though? Obviously, or I think he would have started. I just thought he would have started him anyway. Nevertheless, Gaffer's made the decision. We'll probably see him at some point. I'll go 2-0 Aston Villa.
Oh, nice. Okay, we've got the score prediction there. Right, lads, that is pretty much us done. So a big thank you to all of you for your time. Make sure to head over to Villa TV for commentary of tonight's game, where your commentators tonight are Mark Regan alongside Ian Taylor. But from the 4 of us here pitchside, good night and up the Villa. Bye.